You spend good money on matcha, you whisk it up all excited, it tastes like bitter, grassy disappointment. So you quietly decided maybe matcha just isn't for you. Well, here's the good news. It's almost never you. It's almost never the matcha being bad. It's usually one of the four small things and every single one is a 30-second fix. Okay, my name is Christian and I run a tea brand called OnewithTea, and I've made every one of these mistakes myself. So let's fix yours as I did mine the fastest way. This is the number one cause by far. Matcha is delicate and boiling water scorches it. So boiling at 200 Fahrenheit is just not the way to do it, right? So the heat kind of rips out the harsh and bitter compounds in the leaf and leaves the sweetness behind. Okay, so the fix here is to use water around 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, which is about 160 to 175 Fahrenheit. And if you don't have a thermometer, just boil it, let it sit for about 5 minutes and pour it once it's been, between 2 cups to drop the temperature. Or you can also do what I sometimes do is I just take a little bit of room water and mix it with the boiling water. That's pretty much it, right? So that one change fixes a lot of the bitter matcha that I've tried. And second, you're probably using too much powder. So a standard bowl is about 2 to 4 grams of matcha, which is roughly 1 to 2 teaspoons to about 100 to 150 milliliters of water. So that's about 3 to 5 ounces of water, depending on what your ratio is there. And more powder sometimes can just result in being too bitter because you need to increase your water ratio to it. So if you like it stronger, keep it that way. Add a touch more matcha, not less water. And if you're making a latte, you can also go a bit heavier because the milk kind of overpowers a little bit the taste of the matcha. So for a straight bowl, just water and matcha, start light, and you can always add more, right? Reason number 3, you have clumps in your matcha. So matcha clumps, and the second it hits water, and every clump is a little kind of like pocket of concentrated bitterness. So when it bursts in your mouth, you will taste that. And there's 2 fixes to that. One is sift the powder first through a small strainer before any water touches it, and that 30-second fix completely fixes that clumping issue. And number 2 is whisk it properly. So don't stir in slow circles, go in a fast like W or M shape, right? Using your wrist, not your whole arm, until you build that fine little frothy layer on top. And if you don't have a whisk, you can use an electric frother or an espresso frother or a blender. Even sometimes if you don't have anything handy, a small jar, you can shake it in a protein shaker. I mean, there's many ways to do it, right? So yeah, 4th reason is sometimes it really is the matcha, but not in the way you think. Like if it's gone dull and yellowish, or it's been open in your cupboard for months and not stored properly. I store all my matcha in a refrigerator once it's opened. And it could also be that you've gotten kind of just a low grade powder, right? So it'll taste flat and harsh no matter how perfectly you brew it. So fresh, shade-grown, vivid green matcha is naturally sweet and savory, almost, a little bit creamy with that umami depth. So you're not fighting bitterness in the first place. And I made a whole separate video on how to actually pick good matcha when you're in the store or online, so I won't go down that road here. But just know that great technique can rescue a decent matcha, but it can't resurrect a dead one, okay? So run that little checklist next time, top to bottom, cooler water around 75 degrees Celsius, 165 Fahrenheit. Measure your powder, 2 to 4 grams, sift, then whisk in a W shape, and start with matchas that's actually fresh and green, right? So nothing's cupboard that's been in there for months. And then here's the thing that I actually love about this whole thing. Like bitterness in matcha isn't a failure, it's just feedback. So I think the tea is just telling you that it wanted a little bit more care. Now that sounds a little funny, but really that's kind of like the space that tea invites us in, right? Can we give it more of a presence, attention? Can we be with the leaf? Can we be with the matcha, right? So if you give it more care, you'll get a better quality back, of course. And yeah, that's kind of like the whole deal deal with tea. You know, it's here to give you something back and teach you something as well. So go ahead, make your matcha next time, and yeah, I hope you have something delicious in your cup, and wishing you a wonderful day.